The Sega Dreamcast was one of the most forward-thinking consoles ever. Released in 1999 by Sega, it was the first entry into the 6th generation console market, as well as Sega's last home console. The Dreamcast was originally launched as part of a comeback due to the Sega Saturn, which was struggling to keep up with the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation. It is highly regarded as being ahead of its time. It was the first console to do some very innovative things, such as rendering full frames at 640 by 480, and including a built-in modem. The front of the console features 4 controller ports, marked A, B, C, and D, as well as the Sega and Windows CE logos. Moving to the top of the console, we see the red Dreamcast swirl logo, which was blue in the European region to avoid a lawsuit with German game publisher Tivoli. The power button, disc tray open button, power indicator light, as well as a top-loading GD-ROM drive for Dreamcast games. On the back, we have the modem port, which allowed users to connect to the internet. SegaNet, which was the online service for the Dreamcast, offered online play, extra game content, and even a web browser. We also have ports for ACN, AV out, as well as Serial, which could connect to other Dreamcast consoles, and with a third-party adapter, connect to a VGA display. The controller for the Dreamcast is very reminiscent of the Sega Saturn controller. It features an analog stick, D-pad, 4 action buttons, marked A, B, X, and Y, a start button, as well as 2 trigger buttons. The slots on the top of the controller allowed for certain accessories to be added to the system. These included the rumble pack, which basically made the controller vibrate during gameplay, the microphone, which allowed for a speech recognition feature in some games, as well as VMUs, which was a very unique way of storing save data for games. The VMU itself could act as a secondary screen during gameplay, and even allow the user to play minigames when it was not connected to a controller. The controller had 2 of these expansion slots, so the user could have multiple VMUs inserted at one time. The software on the Dreamcast is very unique as well. Upon booting up the console, we are greeted by a nice boot up animation and then brought to a menu interface. This menu allows options for loading games, managing save data, listening to music, and changing console settings. The console's operating system is loaded from the actual game disc instead of just being saved on the console. This allowed for game developers to take advantage of the newest software features when developing their games. So with all of these great features, you might be asking yourself, why did the Dreamcast fail? Initially, the Dreamcast sold pretty well, but when Sony entered the 6th gen console market with the PS2, consumers chose it over the Dreamcast. While the PS2 may not have had online play or an internet browser, it made up for it with a DVD player. In early March of 2001, just 2 years after introducing the Dreamcast, Sega officially announced that they would be discontinuing the Dreamcast as well as their hardware manufacturing portion of the company. It was not long after this that Microsoft released the Xbox, which took a lot of inspiration from the Dreamcast, as Microsoft worked with Sega during its development. It is actually rumored that the first Xbox was originally going to be backwards compatible with Dreamcast games. Overall, the Dreamcast was a very advanced console for its time. While it may not have succeeded, its legacy lives on today and one of the most successful consoles of all time. So what do you guys think of the Sega Dreamcast? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.